For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open, the eyes of truth are bright, the lips of truth are ever closed, the head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward, the gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt, truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching, the voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple, all you sow you reap. The soul of truth is flaming, the heart of truth is warm, the mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Any loss of correspondent banking by St. Lucia will result in the government blaming the opposition in terms of its rhetoric, resulting in the international banks deciding to take such a course of action against the island. We'll be hearing from the opposition, as it does say that it has just been warning the St. Lucia government, and of course those warnings are appearing. Who said politicians, not politicians, but politicians. And we have a whole lot more between now and 2 o'clock this afternoon. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. During the course of the broadcast, Kimani will be going through some of the comments in the chat room, and they will be taking your calls at 452-2979, and that is 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. Hello to you, watching and listening around the world. Politicians. And that's how Buju Banton describes those individuals we normally refer to as politicians. And Buju Banton was being interviewed on a podcast just recently. The podcast is called Drink Champs. I'm talking about individuals who are serving at the helm of governments in the Caribbean, and the fact that they are doing a poor job of it, so that they squander our financial resources, and whenever there is some kind of disaster, according to Buju Banton, they go cap in hand begging the international community. And he also says that politicians are basically the head of corporations, and they should be made to account for their stewardship. And why do we start on this particular note today? It is because in the run-up to the island's next general election, We are hearing accusations and counter allegations or accusations, and people are passing the buck, and no one takes responsibility for things when they go bad. They take credit for any splendid performance, from that of an athlete, or if there is even a meager improvement in the state of the island's economy. Let us hear from Buju Banton telling it like it is in that interview on the Drink Champs podcast.
What's the two political parties in Jamaica?
I don't give a about political parties.
That should be one of the political parties.
you know, because you see, it's two sides of the same kind.
Yeah, absolutely.
We hope for change and we hope, say, but you have to understand that a country is basically a corporation which an elected official as a CEO.
Yep.
A lot of people think a prime minister run a country, but you have to understand that these are CEO of the company called the country.
It's the board.
And my board members, they have to answer.
Right.
Sometimes these board members are so powerful that these shit in their pants when they get a phone call from. You can't tell me that in the Caribbean we cannot improve our standard of living for our people, and as a disaster, I'm run going out begging left, right, and center. And these are the same who have came into politics with $3,000 in their bank account US and leaving politics with 600,000 million.
Yeah.
So where this millions come from? But the Caribbean people are so passive. I think they put something in our water over the years. We're not fighting anymore. We're accepting. We're not standing up anymore. We're laying down.
Right.
And these we call our politicians, the real criminals and the real crooks, they're having a blast. Because there's no check and balance. Check and balance don't come from your cronies. Check and balance come from people who feel the pain.
Right.
And that's why you see what, like even in Kenya, they were taken aback. They didn't know that the young men and the young women of Kenya had their ducks so much in a row that they could tell each politician what they owned and where they live and where the investments were. That shook them. So we realize that, you know, in the region, we have to do better as the leaders. We need to stop elect people based on their skin color and them being charming. It should be on your mandate. And we have to hold your feet to the fire to accomplish what you promised. Simple.
Just there from well-known Jamaican entertainer Buju Banton, describing politicians as politicians, and basically saying that their job is akin to that of being at the head of a corporation. But there's an important role as well for the electorate, which is that of being a part of the board of directors. So you have to hold their feet to the fire. You have to make them account for the stewardship. That is what you as voters, as citizens of the country, that is your role. That is your responsibility. But in the case of St. Lucia, we have politicians as the head of corporations and also as members of the board. He also said, and you heard him just moments ago saying, but do not elect politicians on the basis of their ability to charm you. They're charming. And also on their skin color. So whether they are black, brown, white, yellow, that should not account for anything. Because we have this debate, this discussion, this argument, saying, no, sure, we need black people at the helm of our governments. We need a black prime minister. We don't want a white prime minister. It definitely has to be on the basis of what you can do to improve the lives of the people of a country. And that should also be manifested in how you address those issues rhetorically. Too often, we accept from politicians that what should be on the agenda are things that are of importance to them. And it's only at some particular junctures. So now all of a sudden we hear the Prime Minister continue to speak about correspondent banking. He's late at the party because this whole correspondent banking issue and what some people are saying is on the horizon, maybe we can lose our correspondent banking. This has been the topic of discussion for a very long time. That's not been dominant in St. Lucia, but indeed in Dominica, Barbados, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, but not St. Lucia. And all of a sudden now he speaks about this because the elephant in the room is a crime problem. And what better way to distract the people as to talk about their inability to send funds to their children who are studying overseas, and also that would certainly limit their abilities to order things online. That's a still discussion that the Prime Minister is trying to spearhead right now. I'm talking about crime, by the way. I know you're not surprised, but there is yet another shooting on the island, and that is on Saturday evening in Anchipo, very close to the secondary school there, and also a stone's throw away from the residence of the Prime Minister. I'm saying all that to stress the point that there's need for us to take those gun crimes seriously. This is passing as something that is normal, something that is unacceptable. And those people who are in office, they are not leading the conversation on this problem. We have a minister with responsibility for crime prevention, and not a word, you're not hearing anything from this individual. He's supposed to have fresh legs, just entering the cabinet a few months ago, come in with fresh ideas, share it with the people of this country, demonstrate that you have the ability to come up with various solutions to that particular malady that we are experiencing at this point in time. So we're sick as far as crime is concerned, but yet still we don't have any kind of remedies. And we are paying people to hold on critical positions, and they definitely are not delivering. One such individual is the Crime Prevention Minister, the National Security Minister, the Police Commissioner. And you know there are people in this country, they take umbrage when you highlight this issue, when we address this issue on this broadcast. It's as if, well, we are manufacturing those incidents or we are celebrating them. No, we're not. What we are saying is, for those of you who are in denial, this is scary. And this is also very real. The crime problem that we're experiencing in this country, which is mostly manifesting itself in terms of those violent crimes involving the use of illegal guns and ammunition. So this guy, the latest shooting victim, a former police officer, he was relieved of his firearm. So we have a firearm that belongs to a former police officer, and it is in the hands of an individual or certain individuals right now. And it is not for safekeeping. It definitely is not for safekeeping. And we just don't have a response from our government, and that government should be ensuring that it does everything that is possible to ensure that we are safe as citizens in our country, in our homes, in our various communities. Again, the politicians are definitely letting you down while they are asking you to protect the victory. And how you can protect the victory, is particularly in the coming days, is make sure you participate in that walk of progress. A misnomer as far as I'm concerned. Call it anything but a walk of progress. We take your calls right now at 452-2979, 2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026, and that is 716-2026. And Kimani will be going through some of your comments in the chat room. Good afternoon to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Tim. In the chat room, someone says, leading the conversation or having the conversation. Another comment, it's sad to see, but not until one of these politicians ends up like the incident with Trump will the police take action. Someone else says, agreed, and essentially those who have failed us over and over again. Another comment, you should never elect someone solely based on their charm. However, it does add to their charisma. Someone says, Julian Alfred's success is not in any way dividing us. It's the politicians' tug of war. Trying to claim her success is what is causing all of this nonsense. They need to stop.
But it's not a case of begging them, suggesting to them that they need to stop. The citizens of this country should call them out. And to say to those politicians, what you're doing is unacceptable. I want no part of it. I will not tolerate it. I just cannot accept your blatant misbehavior as far as politicizing something that ought to unite us. You know, often I make reference to the Almighty, but we are getting so many opportunities through providence and otherwise for us to use certain experiences for us to unite as a people and for us to be successful in one way or the other. So this success that was recently recorded at the Olympics by Julian Alfred should not go to waste. Number one, use it to inspire young people, produce more professional athletes through the education system and otherwise, and also use it to unite us, because in the case of the United Workers' Party or the SLP, this is so laughable, but it's a serious issue. Producing Julian Alfred, St. Lucia, so many people can take credit for her success, but more so, the brunt of the praise must go to Julian Alfred. And she should not be seen as a product of the St. Lucia Labour Party or a product of the UWP. We are just using so many things that are positive in this country to divide us. But unfortunately, we are allowing the politicians to do that because they, believe you me, they are the beneficiaries of that kind of division that is in our country right now. And when, God spare, Julian Alfred lands on local soil, just look at the behavior of our politicians. Photo op. I could just see it already. I can see it already. Jockeying for position, wanting to be in the limelight, wanting to be in front, Julian Alfred. It gives them an opportunity as well to use that to distract the people of this country.
Is it that they're distracting the people or people want to be
They're
distracted?
trying to, and I think it is happening because there are some people, because they support a political party. In this case, now the SLP is in office, and they would probably say to me, if they get the opportunity or if I tolerate it, why focus on a shooting at Entrepot when we should still now be reveling in the success that was recorded by Julian Alfred? Why focus on the high cost of living? Why focus on the poor health care that is being provided at our main health institutions on the island? Focus on Julian Alfred. So it gives you an opportunity now, to just, for a moment there, to ignore the ineptitude of this particular government, which claims to care about the people, but its actions are basically demonstrating otherwise.
But we know that politicians will do what politicians do best. Is it that we as a citizenry need to realize, okay, yes, we can celebrate Julian Alfred, but also bring attention to the fact that crime is getting out of hand, our healthcare is...
It's not getting out of hand, it's really out of hand.
Out of hand.
It is out of hand, out of control. And if you listen
if you don't want to be distracted, you're not going to be distracted, Tim.
No, there are some people, and a lot of us who are watching and listening to this program would know that there are some individuals who have the natural tendency to be focused no matter what, to be resilient, and other people, maybe because of circumstances, because of their surroundings, because of how they're socialized, they are easily distracted and easily swayed and influenced. And the politicians know that for a fact. There are some people who are just headstrong and they understand what it is to want a better St. Lucia as far as healthcare. There are people who are very frustrated, who are annoyed. Because if you have been in this business for as long as I have been, and you've been reporting on shoddy treatment, poor delivery of service. You have, for example, I remember one case where a woman actually died at a particular health institution. I think it was in the Sufre Hospital because a midwife was not available. She literally bled to death. And we have so many horror stories at VH and other health institutions on the island. And it has not stopped. And the Prime Minister will tell you, we're getting on as if this thing started in July of 2021. I mean, he's basically, playing on the ignorance of some people in this country, because there are people who will call this broadcast and repeat the same thing. When you elect a government into office to make the necessary decisions, to take the particular positions that will result in improving the lives of the people of the country. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Good afternoon, Kimani.
Hi, good afternoon.
Timothy.
Good afternoon. I think it's a while I haven't heard from you.
It has been.
Yes, a few months.
Actually, on a few months, yes, indeed. I am in the Republic of Labrie. I came home for a funeral, but I've been here.
All right.
A couple things. I think, you've missed me for a couple months, but I have been always tuning in, so I'm quite attuned to what's going on. So good work as always.
Okay, thank you.
With de-risking and the correspondent banking, as you said, the Prime Minister is late. I mean, if we think back, Mia Mottley went to, I believe, Washington to speak to Congress back in 2022, September, if my memory serves me correct, to talk about de-risking and correspondent banking then. St. Lucia as a state, or at least a voice government, didn't speak then. We did have the benefit, however, of having Mrs. Delmar, who is the CEO at the time anyway of the Caribbean Associations of Banking at St. Lucia. So her voice was there. But I think, as you said, Prime Minister is late, so I totally agree with that. And as always, I think the last 3 years, we're noticing that the St. Lucia Labour Party is late on a lot of things. I think it's great that Buju Banton is using his platform to talk about and put some fire to politicians in the region. I think it's absolutely necessary that musicians, artists continue to do that. But I wanted to talk about the recent win by Julian Alfred. And I'm penning an article, hopefully it comes out in the Star this weekend. But this concept of what it means to be a product of St. Lucia, I think needs to be challenged on and on. Rick has always talked about it. It comes up on your program on and off. And I think her recent win should be celebrated. She should be given the full red carpet for her ability to achieve what she did. And in no way what I'm saying should discount the fact that she has pulled through to achieve something of this sort. But I don't think this is what it means to be a product of St. Lucia. Neither is it to be a Nobel Prize winner. That's not what it means to be a product of St. Lucia when we look at it. Because if you look at the trajectory of Julian, if you look at Derek Walcott and Alan Lewis, all of them at some point, which was in their early teens, got the hell out of St. Lucia. Because that's what it means. There are no institutions that provide you the support to do what she did, or for Derek to become the politician. There are no educational environments to do this. There's no track and field there. There's no way to deploy your ability to be a poet, to be a track and field person on the island here. So what it means to be a product of St. Lucia is to get the hell out of here in your early teens. Because the ability for what the politicians have done to extract the wealth to allow us to be great persons in our country is no longer there. And the Caribbean is experiencing it. It's no wonder she left St. Lucia, went to Jamaica, and then from Jamaica got extracted to the United States. That's the trajectory of many of us that have to leave the island. And that's what it means to be a product of St. Lucia. So, I mean, unfortunately, when she comes back, people are, I'm proud St. Lucian, I'm this. No, yes, she can't have the trailing facilities here. What does it mean to use this person's name? Now, you have politicians, ministers opening their conversations at ceremonies. I was watching NTN talking about welcome to the land of the fastest woman in the world. You know, utter BS. They put nothing into her life. And then now they arrive and they start to market somebody within the extractive tourism industry. And for me, we should challenge that. That's not what it means to be a product of St. Lucia, to be extracted and your wealth and your hard work put on the international stage for politicians or politicians to take advantage of it. Thank you, Timothy.
Okay, thank you so much for calling. Much appreciated. 452-2979, 452-2979, along with your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026, and that's 716-2026. Let's see if we have any of your WhatsApp messages to go through. Somebody says there, Tim, I just listened to the clip of Buju Banton stating that politician/prime minister is like a CEO and the board of directors are citizens. I remember when Alan Shastney first used this analogy and got roasted for it, but today it seems to be well received and understood when Buju says it. Kimani, any comments in the chat room?
Someone says, before Mia Motley, Alan Shastney spearheaded talks on de-risking in Washington. Another comment, we have a lot of gullible people in St. Lucia. Someone says our politics is only a popularity context. Tim, why do you always speak like you are not a citizen of St. Lucia? You always use the phrase the citizens of this country instead of saying we the citizens of this country.
Well, if I say we the citizens, come across as I'm personalizing this. And as a broadcaster, I'm serving as a conduit in facilitating the discussion. So it's not basically about me. There are some people who tell you we and I and I and I and I. You don't get that from me at all. So it's all about citizens and it's all about you. So I'm a citizen of St. Lucia. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello, ma'am.
Good afternoon. You're breaking up, so I don't know if it's me or if it's you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, ma'am.
Good afternoon, NewsSpin. Good afternoon, St. Lucia. Tim.
And good afternoon to the world. To the world.
Well, yeah, these days, absolutely. To the world.
Mm-hmm.
I just listened to your last caller, and I can imagine a lot of people will be upset at him for saying what he just said. A lot of people will decide that he was wrong to say it and he shouldn't have said it. But you know what? He's spot on. He is absolutely correct. What exactly does it mean to be a product of St. Lucia? I believe the only people who can really talk about being products of St. Lucia are people who've never left St. Lucia and who have the kind of success that Julian Alfred has had, that our Nobel laureates have had, and countless other St. Lucians have had who have left St. Lucia. Because to achieve, you must leave, because the island provides you with very little with which to achieve. And Julian, I have to say congratulations to her. You can see the hard work that she's put in, the dedication, and she did what she set out to do, and all the kudos go to her and the parents, the extended family that helped her do it. Because those are the people that she would have heard from that would have told her things like, an opportunity lost can never be regained, work hard, we're pulling for you. I remember it was this very Julian Alfred who was on the world stage, her very first world meet, and she had no uniform. So how can any politician now talk about we made Julian Alfred what she is today? Timothy, do you know, and St. Lucia, do you know that there are countless number of St. Lucians who could have had that success for St. Lucia years and years ago?
Yeah, this goes without saying.
kudos to Twatine for discovering this young lady and for pushing for her and for making things happen for her. But you know, Timothy, track and field for women started in 1977, 76, 77. And I give practically maybe 90% of the credit to 4 young men who came to St. Joseph's Convent and decided to take time off their schedules, just recent college graduates, and took us under their wing and started this thing called track and field for girls in St. Lucia. Michael Midget Pierre, who right now needs the nation's assistance because he has a condition, and there is a GoFundMe. So please, those of you who have not contribute to that GoFundMe to help Michael Midget Pierre, because he is one of the pioneers of women's sports in St. Lucia. That's number one. The deceased Dudley used to be a police officer. He's now gone. He was with Michael. Ali Black. And the other young man lives in Canada, I understand, but I don't remember his name, and I'm hoping somebody can remember his name. But these 4 young men took time out of their schedules. 5 o'clock in the morning, they had us on the field. They were training us. They were trying their best. They got the very first team to represent St. Lucia at Carifta Games in 1977. Okay, you had people like Sybil Corian, fierce 100-meter runner who was running times that could have gotten her to the Olympic Games at that time. You had people like Desmond Pierre, who fortunately got a chance to go to the U.S., get an education. You had people like me. I ran that 800, got to college, run the 800, probably the first All-American athlete St. Lucia has ever produced. We had the talent to do it, but you know what? No government gave us the assistance that we needed. Corporations couldn't have done it all for us, and they helped a lot. But that assistance was never there. We had to leave St. Lucia to make things happen for ourselves. I remember going to the consulate, speaking to Sonia Johnny, asking for assistance and never got it. So I worked my 2 and 3 jobs to get my education. I was running the 800 in a time of 2.12. The Olympic Games, they were running at 2.04. And this was my first year in college, the only year I ran. We had the talent. We had the ability. We did not have the support from St. Lucia. We didn't get the assistance. So no, what is a product of St. Lucia? Julian Alfred is a St. Lucian citizen who, like the young man said, went to Jamaica and from Jamaica got extracted to a very good track school. The best thing that has happened to Julian Alfred is the degree that she got, the university degree that she got. That is the best thing that has happened to her, not the gold medal, the education. Because ability goes away with age. That education is always going to be there. Okay? I do want to say to Julian Alfred, she is now a professional. First thing she needs to do, because the sharks are going to be swarming all around her, trying to take a little piece of her. And it's easy to give a little piece of yourself, not realizing that all of those pieces will add up to your whole, and pretty soon you've given all of you. I want to say to her, she's not listening, her folks are listening, somebody get the message to her. Find a reputable financial advisor immediately. Find a good attorney immediately. Look up the term right to publicity and protect yourself. Look up the term right of privacy and protect yourself. Now that financial advisor, get one in the US or Europe someplace. Don't get one out of St. Lucia. I know St. Lucians are going to be unhappy with me for saying that. But here's my reason for saying that. Should anything go wrong, you are going to have to face the courts, and our courts are not ready yet for you. So find someone in a jurisdiction where you know you will have access to courts that's going to give you decisions that are going to be fair. Okay, that is my position. So find somebody outside of this region to provide you financial advice. And keep your money in US dollars. Don't break it down to EC. You're going to lose money in the process. But there is money to be made, and the sharks will come around. Protect yourself. And please, if you do nothing else, learn the business of sport. Once you learn the business of sport, you will be able to be your own advocate. You are going to be able to protect yourself. This is free advice. Please consider it. But yes, to be a product of St. Lucia is to suffer, is to get an education that's not going to take you very far, is to have people up on their feet on your neck, preventing you from moving up. It's still what it always was. You need a name, you need an uncle, you need a power, you need a nenen, and the people who believe that they are in a certain class has that door closed tight, and they do not allow anyone else in it. Those are the facts of St. Lucia. Now, unless and until we come to grips with that, we will not move from point A to point B. Now, we can say all we want, yes, St. Lucia, we've done well. Kudos to the young lady. That's hers. That's for her. Let her enjoy it. And whatever celebration they're going to have when she comes back, Timothy, I would implore the Olympic Committee, if there is one, I do believe we have one, to take charge of that and to keep the politicians as far away from it as possible. People are already yelling, we're the ones who did this, we're the ones who did that. Come on, really? Give the young lady a break. Let her bask in her glory and stop taking credit for what you did not do. Twatine found her, he advocated for her, he pushed for her, and because of him, she was able to move over to Jamaica. And I can only imagine how difficult that is, because when you migrate and there's very little money, boy, it ain't easy, you know. If you're in the U.S., yes, you work 2-3 jobs like I did. You remember that little skit on In Living Color where they used to make fun of the West Indians working 3 jobs?
Yeah.
That was me. That was me to get my education. So these young people need the assistance. They need it badly. They have the talent. They need the help. They really do. And that's where we need to put our focus. Whatever money we're planning on spend it on a little something for them this summer before school starts. I'm sure Julian will be just fine. She doesn't need you spending a whole lot of taxpayer money on her coming home. Although she ought to be celebrated. I agree. All right? So to the young man, I appreciate him raising the issue. But we really do have to ask ourselves, what exactly is a product of St. Lucia? And if we're honest with ourselves, we're going to see that we have a lot of work that needs to be done. But so long as we're living that lie that somehow it's St. Lucia that's producing these people, we will never get what we need to get right here on this island. Thank you, Timothy.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. And how should we celebrate Julian Alfred's achievement, particularly when she arrives on island? Rick Wayne, a contributor to this broadcast, he has a suggestion. And let's just listen to what he said during the August 8th edition of NewsSpin.
But I would not consider it politics if the Minister of Sport would invite the leader of the opposition so that parliamentarily, all the people of St. Lucia are represented in this thing that St. Lucia, the gold medal that St. Lucia won. Okay? So both sides go out there. It would not be a political thing in my eyes. It will be both sides representing all thinking in St. Lucia, political, sports, etc., etc. So, baby, and whether it is Alan Sassney or somebody standing for him, I think it would be wonderful if they met the young lady at the airport and that she was transported in the state car and that she was brought to a place where everybody would be waiting for her. The Prime Minister would welcome her and do all the stuff. But give it some kind of class and do it in a way that looks like you are interested in this for St. Lucia.
Suggestion being made by Rick Quinn during the August 8th edition of NewsSpin. Still to come, the talk of correspondent banking from the perspective of the Prime Minister, and we have a response from the opposition. This is the most monitored talk show in the world.
Understanding the financial impact of job loss, First National Bank offers job loss insurance, specially designed to provide our customers support during such uncertain times. In the event you lose your job, coverage provides a financial cushion, easing your worries while helping you navigate career transitions. This coverage ensures that a job loss doesn't have to mean a financial crisis, providing you with the support that you need when you need it most. We are committed to standing by our customers in all of life's ups and downs. Our job loss insurance is more than just a policy. It's a promise of support, offering peace of mind and financial stability, ensuring that you can face career challenges without the added burden of financial stress. First National Bank, here for you.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Lucilex remote options are available to serve you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593, 285-3329, or 285-8640, or send an email to customersupport@lucilec.com for assistance. Lucilec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
School start back, KFC got your back. With that back to school deal, it's a tasty pack. Just $12, oh what a deal. Come and get your fill, it's a steal.
But that's not all. Purchase any back-to-school meal for a chance to win one of 5 backpacks filled with school supplies and a brand new laptop.
Write your name, drop it in the box. KFC got the deals that totally rock. Hurry in before August 30th and sign on. Charge on the 31st, come before it's gone. KFC St. Lucia, we the best around. Back to school with KFC is the talk of the town. It's finger licking good.
Visit kfcslu.com for more information. Follow us on social media at KFC St. Lucia. Approved by the St. Lucia National Lottery. Terms and conditions apply.
This is We Summer. Get ready for the biggest and wildest deals from Flow.
Summer comes with a best that's for ya. Switch it up if this is We Summer. Flow says this is We Summer. We Summer. Hey.
Who got the best deals? It's Flow. Bundle postpaid Wi-Fi, you go. Cut the bill in half, save more for sure.
This is We Summer. Bundle broadband now with postpaid and get your bill cut in half. Plus, get up to 4 Samsung Galaxy smartphones for only $4.
15,000 in cash is that. 15,000 in cash, win that.
Win $15,000 in cash when you sign up, switch up, top up, or pay up with Flow.
Summer, Flow says this is We Summer. We Summer. Hey.
Flow, keeping you connected. Terms and conditions apply.
It is well known by all St. Lucian professional tradesmen and even homeowners that European-made tools are the best. Well, guess what? Europa Hardware is having a massive promotion on the Metabo brand of power tools. From impact drills to angle grinders, jigsaws to rotary hammers, sanders and hot air guns. All at unbeatable, jaw-dropping prices. Don't let your tools let you down. Come to Europa and stay standing with a proud in-the-hand tool from Metabo. Call us at 452-0763 or visit us in Masad Grozile. Europa, we service what we sell.
Y'all don't hear the hot sale Palace House have going on. from 30 to 50% off on back-to-school items, stationery, furniture, clothing, shoes, and so much more. Clearance sale, I tell you. Everything must go. You can even get items for as low as $1. Palace House. Visit us today at Makewood Street, Castries, or call us at 452-2250.
Discover the future of body imaging innovation at La Clinique de Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence, where the gold standard in MRI technology meets unparalleled medical expertise. From the intricate neural pathways of the brain to the delicate structures of the spine, and from the vital functions of the heart to detailed multi-parametric MRI of the prostate, our higher resolution images see the unseen from head to toe. Our radiation-free Signa Prime Tesla 1.5 MRI machine is assisted by artificial intelligence, enhancing its precision in creating quality images for our trained radiologists to give you more accurate readings. Our facility ensures fast access to specialist doctors, including pain management, rheumatology, and family medicine. Proudly serving as a world-class facility in the OECS, we bring international standards of healthcare within your reach. There is no longer a need to travel overseas for superior medical services. Experience the pinnacle of diagnostic precision and patient care right here in St. Lucia. Schedule your MRI with La Clinique de Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence, located in Cocoville, Rodney Bay. Call 451-6559 for your appointment. For your peace of mind, ask about our flexible financing options, including our co-pay system for clients with healthcare.
I've seen you here before, and I have something special just for you. What have we here? Happy housewarming to me? That's the MNC Home Depot Rewards Card. You'll earn points every time you shop, plus exclusive savings and promotions just for you. Just for me? Yes, just for you. Shop in store or online and enjoy a seamless experience. So I get to treat myself every time I shop? Exactly. It's time to reward yourself.
MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt Rewards Card. Sign up and reward yourself today at www.mnchomedepot.com.
At Caribbean Pastouche Limited, we offer high-quality products from Martinique, and our ready mix is made with casting sand, not regular pumice. Compared to regular pumice, casting sand saves you in your cement use. At Caribbean Pastouche Limited, our materials come from porcelain stones, which is used as an additive in creating cement. Caribbean Pastouche Limited is located in Bexon, behind Essential Hardware. Give us a call at 489-0074. We're open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sundays 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Caribbean Pastouche Limited. Quality construction, our priority.
These guys are preaching for St. Lucia to lose its corresponding banking relations. You will tell me a government, an opposition, a government that was in power can be praying, can be joining the foreigners to cause St. Lucia to want to lose its corresponding banking relations? You know what Shasta wants for you? He wants you not to be able to use your credit card again. That's what that means. That's what it means. You know that explain to you what that means. When you lose corresponding banking relations, you cannot use your credit card. So your children studying abroad, you can't send money for them on the credit card. That's what Shasta wants for you. You know what losing corresponding banking relations means? You can no longer trade. We cannot buy things from abroad to bring to this country because you've lost these relations. That's what Shasta and the United States Party want to happen to you. That's what they're preaching. That's what they're pushing. They want that to happen to you, for you to suffer because you voted Labour. That's what I want for you. There was a country in the region who lost corresponding banking relations, and the government had to put US dollars in a plane and bring to Miami to pay debts. That's the reality. And they must down that. So when they push it, CIP, this and that, $1.4 million, blah, 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 that is what they want to happen to you. Because he believes when you lose corresponding banking relations, the people of St. Lucia will revolt against the St. Lucia Labour Party.
St. Lucians, I want us to take time and understand this thing, you know. A man says that I have evidence to show you that your country is in trouble. I didn't file a case against you yet. I didn't do anything. All I'm asking you, come and see if the evidence is valuable. Come and see if what I say I have makes sense. You refuse to go, and today we're going to lose our corresponding banking. You want to blame Alan Chasney and the United Workers' Party? I want St. Lucians to understand what I am saying. Because y'all paying passage, y'all going to Dubai, y'all going to Algeria, y'all traveling all over the world. How much does it take 2 days to go to Washington, D.C.? See the evidence, listen to it, and tell Martinez, Beti Zukapalila. Upan pièce evidence a setlisi. My pet tamwe ek pale bawako. That's too much for you to do to protect the integrity and the good name of St. Lucia.
You just heard there from the first deputy political leader of the opposition, UWP, Mr. Guy Joseph, and before him, you heard from Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre. So, correspondent banking is the subject that is vogue right now in St. Lucia, but again, as I said earlier on, it's a subject that has been discussed by so many other individuals, including Prime Minister Mia Motley and a number of other countries in the region. So, is it a case where, if, for example, the relations between our financial institutions in St. Lucia and international financial institutions, if those relations sour, and then the people of this country would pay a heavy price, would you blame for that? And institutions internationally particularly do not act on the basis of hearsay. So the UWP can make all kind of claims, allegations if you want, etc. If there isn't any merit for it, after those financial institutions internationally have done the due diligence, then it will just be just that, allegations. So what the Prime Minister of St. Lucia at this point in time is doing is basically, wanting to engage in some kind of disquiet. He's taking the approach of coming forward even before any kind of action has been taken. So he'll say to you that, you see what I just told you? This action was taken against St. Lucia primarily because of the utterances of those opposition politicians, but not because the government has failed in terms of its duties, in terms of putting in place various safeguards as far as the CIP is concerned. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, good afternoon, Rick.
Tim, I think it was last year, I was invited to speak with some students at Arthur. I'll read some of my work and just them. And in the audience were a number of writers and other young people there. And then question time came around. And I was at first, before I actually took on the assignment, I was at first kind of, figuring, these are all young people, 18-year-olds, 19, 20. How much would these people know about my work and blah, 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 blah. Until question time came. And I actually had to stop and say that to the students. Tim, I was amazed at the caliber of questions coming from those young people. Took me, I had to take my time to think the answer. Such was the depth of those questions. And I said to them, how thrilled I was that St. Lucia seems to be in good hands, etc., etc. And then it occurred to me as a caveat, Tim, that a lot of what those people, those young people, their potential, will depend on how well off their parents are and government. Now that kind of throws you back to the whole Alfred thing as well. That this deliberate or inadvertent attempt at diminishing what the woman has herself done. And you know, in other countries, you have all the government things, you have athletic groups, you have money people, you have people who are investing. In St. Lucia, none of that. That's what makes Alfred's achievement so fantastic, you know, Tim. And typically, the politicians, when they speak, they cannot help it, and they hack. Whenever they speak of her, it is a possession of her.
Yeah.
It's a who did that for her. It's what they expect. It's who the woman has worked a miracle. But I'm going to ask you this, Tim. Do you think that Julian Alfred can possibly have any significant impact on the way we lived and have lived in St. Lucia for the last 50 years?
No, I don't think so. Because,
I will go so far.
Because we have a tendency, Rick, not to use such experiences for the betterment of our country, because somehow we cannot do it without, first of all, dividing ourselves, okay? And without us being parochial to the extent that we're just being political, either UWP or SLP. We're not into nation building. And that is what would be required if we have to use her success as some kind of opportunity whereby we can work that to the betterment of the entire country.
I want to make a small confession here, you know. I am especially known for, quote unquote, being outrageous in the things I say, being, you know, really telling it naked, rough, and everything else. You know what the reason for that is, Tim? I could be like everybody else and sugarcoat everything I said. You know?
Yeah.
I want us to see how monstrous we have allowed our country and our people to become over the years by being quiet and therefore complicit, etc., etc. So, you know, they can't do anything to me. You cannot erase me. Even when I was working regularly and defending to a certain extent on what government does or didn't do, they could not stop me. You think now they're going to erase me or cancel me? I cannot be cancelled and I cannot be erased. So when I talked about Alan Shastney and that whole thing about the product of, I really wasn't interested in Shastney. I was interested in making a bigger point. I said, neither is Derek Walker a product of St. Lucia. He was born here. He's not a product. You have nothing here to produce a Derek Walker. First of all, to begin to produce a Derek Walker, you have to have the talent, the extraordinary talent of Derek Walker. We don't even appreciate that, Tim. That at 18, the man was already a declared prodigy by everybody but St. Lucia. At 18, Derek, we had among us a prodigy. And we didn't know it. We can't recognize it. When Arthur Lewis came back here and asked all those dumb questions, where were you, and all that stuff, I watched a man's wife demeaned in Castries at the time of his funeral. A guy who asked his wife to make sure he's buried here. And I have all the pictures in the Star. It's degrading, demeaning, but most demeaning, not of the of Arthur, who had done his thing and cannot be erased. It is our behavior, how St. Lucia reacts. They will do anything, Kim, to erase me. But my record is elsewhere. My writing, my bodybuilding, my singing, whatever else I did, cannot be, my standing up in St. Lucia when everybody's lying down, that cannot be erased. But do you hear them using it as an example of any young kids? No. Because they have tied me up with some kind of political package, and it depends who I appear to be supporting at a particular time. You remember when they tried to make out I had never won any title?
Yes.
That I was I was criticizing Walter Francois, but I had won no title myself. They almost convinced me of that, Tim.
And you actually had to prove provide the evidence.
I came up with a show.
Yeah, I remember that.
I came up with a show with all kinds of stuff brought to DBS, and I lost a prize. The letter I had from Norman Mailer wrote to me on something. I had the envelope with them. I lost it among the things that was worth so much to me. I say all of that because it's a con. It's a con that this person is a product of St. Lucia. The girl will come here now, and all those young people who will want to kiss her feet and want to be like her are doomed to frustration, Tim. Because the amenities available to them in this time are as they were to Julian in her time. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, yeah.
In other words, if in her time they had not built the Viewport...
the stadium. The stadium?
The forever metamorphosing stadium.
Yeah.
1 minute it's a stadium, next minute it's a shelter for 3 months,
Yeah.
next minute it's a hospital, next minute it's a morgue. You know, a very versatile building. In her time, that may not have been there. So she ran the field.
Yeah.
And we must not underestimate it. There's nothing wrong in somebody going to a different country for extra training, extra attention. The country is more advanced. Nothing wrong with that. And that does not demean the country she comes from either. I want to say that. But when the country, all those years I've been talking from Odlum's time about sports tourism, and you are witness to that, you know, Tim. Sports tourism.
Yeah.
The idea of having people staged up there. Like Alan Chasney tried something. I don't know how badly he did it. It obviously was no big success. But at the time it was announced, in fact, I interviewed a couple of the boxers on my show on DBS because I thought it was a start of tourism, sports tourism. It didn't work. I don't know why it didn't work. But it is used as something against him rather than finding out why it didn't work, and perhaps we can do what needs to be done to make it work. It's all sports tourism. You with me?
Yes.
Swimming. You know, it's private sector people who did their pool.
Mm-hmm.
I had the government talking about a pool. Has the government built a pool anywhere?
Not to my knowledge, but you have
But they talked about it a lot.
Yeah.
Olympic-sized pool and all kinds. They talked about it a lot. As far as I recall, even the thing in Viewport was not structured according to Olympic requirements, the track. Are you aware of that?
Yes, I'm aware, yeah.
So, you know, we still have too much, how should I put this? Too much of the future of our most talented young people depends on morons who happen to know enough drunk people to vote for them. You know, this is very serious. You look at our different politicians over the years, and very few of them you would consider intellectual or talented or specially talented or have a good track record I want to emulate. Very few, Tim. Most of them are useless lawyers or useless other things, or they may have dabbled in some agriculture, or they were alcoholics, drinking rum, so people get to know them. It's not because they had achieved anything. And if you don't have that spirit, that hunger for achievement and accomplishment, you will not appreciate it in others, Tim. The reason I am so into and I still say, this girl, I want to hear from her. Laverne
Spencer. Mm-hmm.
That girl could have told St. Lucia so much that they needed to be told so as they could learn to appreciate what Alfred achieved. That's like flying to the moon. But she has been in the particular shoes. And she would be able to tell you the ups and downs. If she's frank, she'll be able to tell you what pressures are put on your shoulders when when I heard Alfred saying that she was hoping to win because her country is depending on it and they want the gold. Tim, what that woman was expressing there was pressure, you know.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Just knowing that the entire St. Lucian community was watching, certainly that would put a lot of pressure on her to excel and not to come up with a bronze medal or silver, especially at the 100 meters, but definitely gold. And when she won it, she knew that back home, and you know, we can be very, very tough. We are not supportive of our athletes and so on, but we are very tough when they underperform.
You saw the clip where her coach was hugging her and almost preparing her not to worry if you lose.
Yeah.
You saw it?
Yes, I saw it.
Well, we don't know what went on before that.
Yeah.
But I am going to be suspicious, and I'm going to speculate that the young woman had somehow communicated to him her concerns about the match based on what she knows will happen or she imagines will happen. Because that's the point, you know. She's going to imagine, if I lose, I let down my country.
Yes.
And Laverne Spencer, we saw it. We experienced it when Laverne ran under that thing and didn't even jump and so on and so on. We saw what happened. We heard the remarks, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
So, I think people who have never done things, Tim, have no understanding of it and are judging it. You know, that's the worst thing you have, and that's what you have in this country. You don't have, I mean, that Swatine guy, I keep hearing a lot about the guy. And what I really want to hear him talk about is his own career that he could have had, coulda, woulda, you know, etc. Not so much what he did for the young lady, which is good enough, but she left him at 14. How much could he have done? You know? I want to know about him. Because that is the case, because I suspect there are a lot of Twatines in this country. I don't care what his political position is. I would hope that if you interview him, you don't ask him anything about politics. Nothing at all. But that guy has a lot to say based on people who know him very well, what they told me, Tim. So, you know, when we're talking about this young lady going to do that for St. Lucia, she'll be able to do nothing for St. Lucia, if only because what needs to be done has to be done as an investment by the government of St. Lucia in the young of St. Lucia. Buildings are fine, but the people are first, must be first, and especially the young people. They must be first. You don't develop into something great while you're living in housing that is horrible. You're seeing all kinds of sex, all kinds of abuses you go through at your early age between 2 and 10, all kinds of abuses. Whatever talent you were born with will die. And we don't understand that. The Junior Alfreds of this world have to be in the proper place from birth. It doesn't mean rich, Tim.
Yeah.
It means a good home.
Yeah.
It means mother. It means somebody taking care of you. It means you're not subjected to abuses and that kind of stuff. And you build self-confidence.
You have to be psychologically prepared for that success.
Eh?
You have to be psychologically and otherwise prepared to succeed.
Of course,
yeah.
This country is by and large a country of losers. That's why we ain't going nowhere. I have to say it outrageously. It's a country of losers, most of us depending on losers in Parliament. Losers in Parliament. Look at this thing that exchange the Prime Minister and Guy. I mean, it's almost like talking to ABC people. A guy claims to have evidence of corruption in one of our most important sectors. As the Prime Minister, I would not go. But I certainly would invite him at his own expense to come see me, and we will give him the time. Eh?
Yes, because you ought to be curious, Eric.
Man, we ought to be nervous.
Yeah, you ought to be nervous and curious as well to find out exactly what's happening.
Instead,
what does he have?
Our attention was drawn to whether the guy was a crook or not a crook. Man, if the guy says he has evidence of corruption in our CIP arrangements, and don't forget, Kenny Anthony said last year or year before that he only went into CIP under pressure, you know, and the pressure was from Owners Hill, you know. And he had reservations about that, just like the other one.
Dr. Fletcher?
Yes, that was basically a Hill project. And we pretend things are what they are not, and we live a reality that has no place. No place. It's a fake reality. So it's no wonder we ain't going nowhere. We don't call a spade. We expect Julian to come and undo all the miserable stuff that's been going on here for more than 50, 60 years before she was born. We expect her winning a gold medal is going to impress people who have no talent to run, who have no inclination to run, who don't believe they can ever be a Julian Alfred for whatever reason. The only people who might believe that are people who are athletic already, Tim. The vast majority of St. Lucians are not demonstrably athletic because we don't have any facilities to practice, to do those things, to know we are good. I used to go to train at Shit Alley. I made my own wish as a kid of 12. Made my own wish. I knew I was going to be a champion, whether it happened or not, Tim. I knew it in my bones.
Yeah.
So I lived for that. I wanted to be a rock and roll guy. I lived for it. And this thing about suggesting what I know it's meant well, what she should get a good man. The girl already has a good manager, a gold medal winner. You think she doesn't have among the best managers already? You think she doesn't have offers all over the place from lawyers and coaches and everything else? This girl is going to have her pick gold medal and silver medal. So it's a joke when those of us who have done nothing along those lines want to advise this girl on her career. We should be concentrating on all those young people who all those years could have been, and those young people who still have a chance if we have the right thinking government with the right priorities. That's what we should be talking about, not Alfred. Alfred is beyond us, Tim, beyond our imagination. Just be thankful she came from St. Lucia and used it. But then again, they were unable to use Derek Walker, Tim. They were unable to use Lewis. In my time, I offered to help in tourism. They thought I was looking for publicity. And there are others. We have never learned how to use our people. They expected Derek Walker at his age to go around the world begging for money, when all they needed was a letter with Derek Walker's signature and take it to the right places, and they would get everything they needed. But there's no thinking. There's no critical thinking. Why aren't we appreciating our writers? People like, oh gosh, my favorite writer, Dixon. People like Dixon. Dixon's a damn good writer. We have poets here. What are we doing about them? How many of them do we know? I can't remember.
Well, let's put it this way. We'll only appreciate Mr. McDonald Dixon if he becomes a Nobel laureate for literature.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But even there again, I challenge that. Because we didn't show any appreciation for Derek Walker when he was alive among us, when he chose to come and live in Cap Estate. We didn't show any special nothing for him. Every year, it started for a few years back, we have Nobel Laureates Week. Nobel Laureates Week? What does that mean? Why not Derek Walker Week?
But Rick, we have to run. There's need for a commercial break and then some more calls. Thank you so much, Mr. Rick Wayne. And if we allow him to speak, he can speak until tomorrow, uninterrupted. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. A very interesting individual is trying to get the show. Back in just a bit with more of your calls and your WhatsApp messages.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With Bouteille and Beaufort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus takes charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
Lucilex remote options are available to serve you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593, 285-3329, or 285-8640. Or send an email to customersupport@lucilec.com for assistance. Lucilec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
Good morning, students.
Good morning, teacher.
Let's head back to school.
It's time to get the children ready to head back to school with a back-to-school loan from First National Bank. Get up to $30,000 for all your back-to-school needs. No deposit required, low interest rates, and an easy process. Visit any First National Bank location or call 455-7127 for more information. Let's head back to school with First National Bank. Terms and conditions apply. First National Bank, here for you.
This is We Summer. Get ready for the biggest and wildest deals from Flow.
Summer comes with a message for ya. Switch it up if this is We Summer. Flow says this is We Summer. We Summer. Hey.
Who got the best deals? It's Flow. Bundle postpaid Wi-Fi, you go. Cut a billion half, save more for sure.
This is We Summer. Bundle broadband now with postpaid and get your bill cut in half. Plus, get up to 4 Samsung Galaxy smartphones for only $4.
15,000 in cash is that. 15,000 in cash, win that.
Win $15,000 in cash when you sign up, switch up, top up, or pay up with Flow.
Summer, Flow says this is We Summer. We Summer. Hey.
Flow, keeping you connected. Terms and conditions apply.
St. Lucia, get ready for the ultimate flavor explosion at KFC. Introducing the new Bacon Melt Sandwich. That's right, the crispy, juicy KFC chicken you love, topped with melted cheese, crispy bacon, and your choice of mayo or barbecue sauce, all nestled in a soft sesame seed bun.
Your taste buds ready, come and try KFC's new Bacon Melt Sandwich is great, no lie. Crispy chicken, bacon, cheese flavor certified with mayo or barbecue, anyone you must try. For just $25, get this combo deal. Fries and a drink, it's a steal. Head to KFC, cause you don't wanna miss a Bacon Melt Sandwich, have it on your list.
Available at all KFC locations island-wide. WhatsApp 484-0400 or visit kfcslu.com for delivery and more.
Gade mweti boy, pa fe la femela.
Stop all that smoke, fume, and noise. Keep the emissions to zero and be a hero for the environment. You can still do all your lawn mowing, brush cutting, leaf blowing, hedge trimming, even chainsawing, but with a battery-powered machine. Europa is now offering a buy one, get one free on professional battery tools. When you buy the tool, we'll throw in the battery absolutely free. Yes, you heard right. You get one free battery with the purchase of any steel professional machine.
PS la fime, PS Desord, merci papa.
Visit Europa in Massat, Grosley, or call us at 452-0763. Europa, we service what we sell.
Discover the future of body imaging innovation at La Clinique de Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence, where the gold standard in MRI technology meets unparalleled medical expertise. From the intricate neural pathways of the brain to the delicate structures of the spine, and from the vital functions of the heart to detailed multi-parametric MRI of the prostate, our higher resolution images see the unseen from head to toe. Our radiation-free Signa Prime Tesla 1.5 MRI machine is assisted by artificial intelligence, enhancing its precision in creating quality images for our trained radiologists to give you more accurate readings. Our facility ensures fast access to specialist doctors, including pain management, rheumatology, and family medicine. Proudly serving as a world-class facility in the OECS, we bring international standards of healthcare within your reach. There is no longer a need to travel overseas for superior medical services. Experience the pinnacle of diagnostic precision and patient care right here in St. Lucia. Schedule your MRI with La Clinique de Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence located in Cocoville, Rodney Bay. Call 451-6559 for your appointment. For your peace of mind, ask about our flexible financing options, including our co-pay system for clients with health care.
To have a strong structure, you must have a strong foundation. And at Caribbean Pastouche Limited, we offer top quality aggregate materials at great prices. We supply high quality ready mix, casting sand and plastering sand. We also take special requests for specific materials that you may require for your building projects. Caribbean Pastouche Limited is located in Bexon behind Essential Hardware. Give us a call at 489-0074. We're open from Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sundays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Caribbean Pastouche Limited. Quality construction, our priority.
Ouais, messieurs, pas jodi moi la ka espérer plein bon glow. Si t'es la panic pressure. Mwen ni tank, mwen ni glow, me mani pressure. Ou sav sa mwen bezwen? A pump. Sa se bêtise. Mwen ka ale ko Europa. Yo ni tout pump pou tout kondisyon. Ki pou kay, ki pou business. Yo ni pli mer pou y pump an set lisi. Yo ka ronge pump osi ki bezwen servis. Brand pump yo se Leo. Pump sa se major. I bon tout bonman. Tan si ten mwen a cholman. Glo ka fante. Europa ni pump glo Leo anda pou le nef, jouange et gris. Visitez Europa ambassade Gozile. Les mots au téléphone 452 0763.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. It's also being monitored by Philippe Martinez. He's online. Good afternoon to you, sir.
How are you, sir?
I am okay. How about you?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
All right. What would prompt you to call the broadcast?
Well, because I heard the gentleman before, and he was saying, why the government didn't come. Listen, it's very simple. I don't even know what the argument here is, right? On April 18, we sent an invitation to the Prime Minister and to Hilaire to come to meet us in DC at my lawyer office. My lawyer is one of the most prestigious law firms in Washington, DC. Their expertise is in fraud, money laundering, and corruption internationally. That's their expertise, right? And we say, please come to see our evidence because maybe you don't know about it, right? We're being kind. Well, they turned that into, we don't have to come. He has a commercial dispute with Galaxy. People need to understand, right, that these citizenship are being sold as one product all over the Caribbean. So all the Caribbean countries are competing with each other. So when one nation, St. Kitts was the case with the jail project, and now St. Lucia with Galaxy for the infrastructure and for the real estate option, when the CIP allows them to sell half the price, there is a problem. Now we have the contract with the invoice from the client showing that they bought the citizenship for half the price. End of story. And we have hundreds of them. We have recording of McLeod confessing that he knows about it. So the government is not coming, not because they don't take it that seriously. Do you think that we're filing a RICO lawsuit? Do you know the magnitude of what it is legally, a RICO lawsuit? And the consequences on us to file something of that magnitude if we didn't have the backup? This is incredible. So they are making their own bed right now. You heard Hilaire like me, he cannot tell the citizen of his country how many citizenship he has given to Galaxy. We know how many. 6,000 for the real estate, 7,000 for the infrastructure. McLeod told us. Do you think, I've said it many times, I have provided all the evidence to the U.S. authority. Do you think that you go lightly to the U.S. authority? No, you don't. Because when you go to the U.S. authority, you expose yourself that they can look into your entire life. So it's enough to play the dancing game. They don't want to come because they know what we have. They know what they've done. So that's it.
But why not seek an audience with the authorities in St. Lucia? And you travel to the island to meet with the Prime Minister or possibly some other senior government official or government minister to present the evidence to them.
Well, I tell you why. Because you fully well known, and Mr. McLeod knows very well, that I'm not the only one that is met in D.C. And I've arranged for him another meeting. So it's better that they come to D.C. Like that they can meet me and they can meet someone else. And I'm not going to say who, but I'm pretty sure you understand who.
But this
is a joke.
Yeah.
This is a joke. It's fine. Listen, at the end of the day, I'm going to be filing the evidence in U.S. federal court, and like anybody else, will be able to download the evidence, and you will see the contract and the invoice to the client for the real estate option sold at half the price. That's it. End of story.
Why are you doing this in terms of presenting the evidence you wanting to present evidence to the government of St. Lucia with regard to underpricing of the sale of our passports? It doesn't appear to be you want to do us a favor. Don't you think there's more in it for you than anybody else?
Of course there is for me, absolutely, because it prevents us to sell. It prevents us to sell honestly at the legal price our citizenship. Okay, this is a regional market. Do not think for 1 second that St. Lucia is alone in that market. St. Lucia is competing with St. Kitts, Dominica, and Grenada. So if the legal price is set at $250,000 in St. Kitts, right, and I have to sell it at $250,000, I'm competing with Galaxy and the CIP of St. Lucia, who is allowed illegally to sell it at less than half the price of your legal price in St. Lucia. So, and on top of that, I am doing you a favor because I am exposing that this way the citizen of your country have been defrauded of hundreds of millions of dollars, which can be recouped. So yes, sir, I am doing you a favor by protecting my interests.
What about claims that people might be saying that you are interfering in our internal affairs as far as politics in particular is concerned? Because the issue is right now pitting one political party against another.
This is not a political issue. This is not yellow versus red. This is a Chinese company who's selling your citizenship at half the price on the international of the legal price of the international market. And by doing so, one, affect our ability to sell our citizenship, and two, is defrauding the citizen of your country. That has nothing to do with politics. It's a RICO case, right? If Hilaire and the Prime Minister would have said on April 18, listen, we're coming, right? And we want to see the evidence, that would have been the end of it. But let me tell you something, sir. I have learned that in the Caribbean, nobody wants to look at the evidence. Let me tell you why. Because when Prime Minister Drew in St. Kitts was elected, the very first day of his election, I sat down with him and I said, sir, I want to show you the evidence of fraud and corruption in your citizenship program. He didn't want to look at it. I brought my American partners. We went to the Attorney General of St. Kitts office and we say we would like to file criminal charges against Galaxy and the CIU for what they're doing. We have the evidence. For 1 year, nobody wanted to look at it. So let's not play like it's a little game, okay? Fraud has been committed. That fraud involved money laundering to the U.S. corresponding bank. End of story. And by putting their head of the sand, and it's not just St. Lucia that's putting their head of the sand, right? It's also St. Kitts. We must have told our lawyers at least 10 times to the authority in St. Kitts to look at our evidence. We had to file a judicial review, and we gave it to the court 2 weeks ago 185 contract of Galaxy where the citizenship were sold at half the price, which means that the citizens are not getting the money. So let's not play games. This is not politics. This is a pure case of fraud, money laundering, and corruption, right? Now, if people want to use that as their political agenda, that's their agenda. That has nothing to do with me.
Finally, Mr. Martinez, what say you, because to an issue that is surfacing, the Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Ernest Hilaire, about 10 days ago, speaking to a reporter, said that he hopes to meet with the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Mr. Philippe Japierre, to review some of the discussions that possibly you're having with Lisa Joseph to determine whether legal action should be taken. Your thoughts on this?
Be my guest. And I said it in the interview with Lisa Joseph. Be my guest. Me, I'm suing him in a U.S. federal court on a RICO case. When we add his name to the lawsuit, among with other defendants in St. Lucia, he will have plenty of time to explain himself. This is not a joke. I'm surprised that people would think that a prestigious law firm would file a RICO lawsuit in U.S. federal court just like that. And by the way, we have to introduce our evidence in U.S. federal court. What they don't understand is that the reason why we have so many evidence is because a lot of people and companies are terrified to be sued in U.S. federal courts because they know what they've done. I'm talking about big sales agents company that are selling for St. Lucia. That's how we got the information. Not to mention the recording of McLeod that are exceptional, which we didn't do. So that's what it is. I'm sorry I didn't want to disturb your program, but I'm just amazed that people are talking about politics. This is simply a case of fraud, corruption, and of course it's in my interest. Did I not say very clearly in my interview with Lisa Joseph that I intend that the people that have committed that fraud will pay the damages that they've caused us? Absolutely, I say that. But I also said very clearly that not only that, but we also want to propose to the two countries a plan to recover the money because the money is gone. Let me ask you a question. Have you seen Lescan and Galaxy lately, executive, in St. Lucia?
Well, I don't know if
they are.
I'm not aware whether they're in St. Lucia or not. I wouldn't know that.
Well, I'm telling you, they're not. And I don't think you're going to see them anytime soon because they're not coming in the U.S., you know? So this is, you will see what happened when we file the evidence in U.S. federal court. It's public record. You, sir, will be able to download them, and you will see the contract, and you will see the invoice of how much the client have paid. And you will realize that that whole thing about escrow account is a total joke, like it was in St. Kitts. Okay? So, you have to be a little bit patient because we don't fight on social media. We fight in U.S. federal court because there, it doesn't matter what these political persons say or not. In U.S. federal courts, what matters is the fact, the evidence.
All right,
that's it.
All right. Thank you so much.
And I believe
you were saying
you're very welcome. No, and I say, and I believe, right, that long term, I believe that both St. Kitts and St. Lucia will benefit because moving forward, I think that a lot of people are going to be thinking twice before doing this type of fraud and corruption to take place because they will know now. Look what happened with Douglas, not Douglas, Harris and Galaxy suing me for defamation. The result of it, because when you have big lawyers in America, the result of it was that I was able, because of the defamation lawsuit, to file what's called a Section 1782 and subpoena the bank to access their bank transaction. Do you think a lot of people are going to sue people for defamation from now on in the Caribbean, knowing that I've created that precedent? With that precedent, I basically was able to stop the bank secrecy for scams in the Caribbean. You're welcome.
Thank you so much for calling. You just heard there from Mr. Philippe Martinez of MSR. So I early on pointed the question to the head of MSR Media, which operates out of St. Kitts Nevis, with regard to Dr. Ernest Hilaire speaking to a reporter just about a little over a week ago, and that report is from Choice TV, regarding interviews conducted by DBS's Lisa Joseph with Mr. Martinez and the possibility of the government of St. Lucia deciding to take legal action.
Last night, Martinez and Lisa Joseph had quite a lot to say. Today, we're going to take a good look at what they said. I will consult with my lawyers, and I will consult with the Prime Minister, and we will decide on our next course of action. I mean, you can imagine a lot of things being said, a lot of things that are untrue, a lot of bullying, a lot of, scare tactics, and we will respond appropriately. I'm not one who believes that one should be suing the media and suing media persons. They have their job to do, and we have our job to do. But I think the line has been crossed now, and we will have to take a decision on how we respond to it. I'm always willing to give interviews to answer questions as best as I can, but when that kind of baseless accusations are made unfacilitated, I think the time has come for some serious action to be taken.
That is comments made by Dr. Ernest Hilaire in a report which was filed on the Choice TV's newscast some 10 days ago. Kimani, what's happening in the chat room as you're getting all set to conclude another edition of the most monitored talk show in the world?
In the chat, someone says Martinez did a patriotic duty for all St. Lucians. A YouTube comment, governments need to have vision for the new leap the world has taken. It's like a flight. 3 years has become a year. So they need to wake up to that and change the old ways of doing things. Tim, we need a few more men like Rick to uplift the level of discourse on NewsSpin. We need to come together with a plan to move St. Lucia forward for the benefit of the upcoming generations. Someone says they don't want to look at the evidence because they are all well aware of what is going on. They are part of it. Another comment, Timothy, I was so proud yesterday as I attended a celebration of the steel pan from Trinidad, and a professor from the university read an article from Derek Walcott. Someone in the chat says... Philip JP has absolutely no idea what correspondent, not correspondent banking means. Removal of correspondent banking from St. Lucia does not prevent individuals from making credit card purchases, and this is what Philip is telling people. Someone explains that a correspondent bank is a financial institution that provides services to another one, usually in another country. It acts as an intermediary or agent, facilitating wire transfers, conducting business transactions, accepting deposits, and gathering documents on behalf of another bank.
We have a final call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon to you, sir.
Spider-Montu here.
Yes, good afternoon to you.
You know, I just wanted to express my disappointment at the approach taken by the Prime Minister to what is turning out to be a major scandal of more than national proportion, but international proportions. And I mean, given the fact that, the reputation of our country, the integrity of our CIB program is at stake here, rather than reduce it to partisan politics, as he always does with almost everything, I think what he should be doing is, instead of focusing on protecting victory and scoring political points, he should be focusing on protecting the image of St. Lucia and delve into this matter in a serious manner, in an official way, that will satisfy himself and St. Lucians that there is really nothing untoward. Here you have a foreigner making all kinds of allegations and accusations, implicating our government officials, and you just want to blame other people, pass the buck and cast aspersions and so on, instead of dealing with the matter head on and getting to the bottom of the situation. Now, I believe that it has worked in the past for Philippe JP and the St. Lucian Labour Party, but it will not always work. I mean, you can fool people sometimes with those gimmicks, but there comes a time when you have to take your responsibility seriously and address the matter in a manner that is befitting of the responsibility that you have. He is the leader of the country. He has to play a leadership role in this matter. and stop playing games. I mean, you just heard Philip Martinez I just heard Philip Martinez on your program a while ago. The allegations that and aspersions that the man come are serious, okay, and has direct implications for us as a people in this country, not just the government officials who are implicated, but for us as individuals. And so this has to be taken more seriously, and he has to show us, just like the Prime Minister of Dominica and St. Kitts, that he is taking steps, to try to see what he can salvage in this already disastrous, scandalous situation. And so, I just hope that his next move will not be to accuse you of working in collaboration with Martinez, and that Ernest Hiller doesn't threaten to sue you as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Just out there from the PRO of the opposition, UWP, Mr. Leonard Spider Motut. This program is being monitored internationally, so I think it was a matter of time before we heard from Mr. Philippe Martinez. I did not call him. And even the program is also being monitored by this famous blogger, infamous blogger. So I will not even call his name, because he calls my name on his program from time to time. So let's conclude with our NewsSpin news of the day. Our NewsSpin news of the day: U.S. offers pardon to Venezuela's Maduro to step down in secret talks. U.S. offers pardon to Venezuela's Maduro to step down in secret talks. This has been another edition of the most monitored talk show in the world, NewsSpin. My name is Timothy Poleon. Have yourself a safe and enjoyable Monday, and we'll be back, God willing, same time tomorrow afternoon, 12:30. Goodbye.